Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a shocking story that we are bringing you from the national capital as more skeletons are tumbling out of the Delhi rape-accused Babu's closet. It seems the officer, handpicked by Delhi Minister Kailash Gehlot as his Officer on Special Duty or OSD in 2022 was a habitual offender. Times Now's accessed clinching documents that reveal not one or two, but the fact that there were 4 cases of sexual harassment filed against him in 2019. But almost every time, the internal committees gave him a clean chit. Let's now take a quick look at what exactly we're talking about. This is about the first case that was filed. This is filed in May 2019. The internal clean chit came out in November 5th, 2019. Now, there is a hearing in the High Court on September 26, 2023. Let's move on to case number 2 in this entire matter. Case number 2 was a complaint filed on the 18th of March 2019. The internal clean chit comes out on May 24, 2019. Reason cited is that there is no proof by the complainant. Moving on to case number 3 now. Now, in case number 3, the complaint was filed. The details further to that are not available, and of course, evidence not available has been cited. The internal clean chit comes out on 3rd of December 2019. In this case as well, there is a hearing in High Court on 30th of November 2023. Case number 4, and this is the anonymous case. It was, of course, detailed. Proof was not available, is what we are told, and the internal clean chit comes out on the 1st of Feb 2019. The reason, of course, there is that the complaint is fake and anonymous is what is cited by those who are looking into it. The big question is, who was really trying to shield Premoday Khakha? That's a question that arises out of all of these complaints, because how is it possible that if there were several complaints and if the High Court is still seized of the matter in at least 2 of them, then why was it that officials were not aware of these particular complaints? Let's go on to the other details that we have in terms of who was trying to shield Premoday Khakha. One of the complainants who approached the High Court, in fact, goes on to say that no WCD internal committee was there to look into the charges. A very, very serious charge that has been made. Remember that this is in the complaint to the High Court in 2021. Ran pillar to post to register my complaint is indictment coming in from one of them. So this is, of course, a very, very important point to note. There's indictment number 2, which is 6 emails issued by DCW on fictitious email ID. Once again, we are citing what the complainant has said in High Court in a petition in 2021. Very, very serious charge over here as well. Moving on to the indictment 2, this says that the emails to concocted ID reveals a bid to shield Khakha. This is once again from the petition to the High Court. The Delhi Commission for Women didn't pursue the case diligently as per law. This too is part of it, and the Delhi Commission for Women is one of the respondents as well, we understand, in this entire matter. Let's now quickly listen into our reporters. Tejshree and Niwamika have been pursuing and been speaking to several of these women. Remember that these are complainants. They're highly traumatized, but they have not lost the spirit to fight against this predator. We've spoken to some of them. Let's listen in.
उनका हमारे कपड़ों पर टिप्पणी करना, ज़बरदस्ती ऑफिस में रोकने के लिए बाध्य करना, कार्यस्थल पर जो हमारा जो वर्क टाइम था 10 to 5 उसके बाद फोर्स करना रुकने के लिए, और मेरी जो सहयोगी थी, सिर्फ मुझ पर नहीं, मेरे साथ में जो मेरी सहयोगी थी उन पर भी टीका टिप्पणी करना। सेक्रेटरी को शुरुआत में ही इन्फॉर्म किया गया था कि इस तरह की घटनाएं चल रही हैं अंदर, और हमें असुरक्षा की भावना हमारे अंदर पनप गई थी, तो हमें सुरक्षा उपलब्ध कराई जाए इस तरह की घटनाओं से, ताकि आगे किसी के साथ ना हो। लेकिन नियमित समय पर कार्रवाई नहीं हो पाई थी, और फिर हमने आगे जाके कंप्लेंट DCW किया, और आईसी जो थी वो शायद बाद में बनी थी। हमारी जो कंप्लेंट थी उसके काफ़ी समय बाद में आईसी का गठन हुआ था। DCW से भी कोई ऐसी इफेक्टिव कार्रवाई नहीं हो पाई।
And look at another complainant. This is another victim. Now, she has gone on to say that the complaints committee had Khakha's colleagues in it. This is another claim that has been made. This is a charge that has been made as well, leading to a very serious question as to what was going on. Charge number 2, that victims raised their voices, but their side was not heard. This is another very, very serious charge that is being made over here. Charge number 3 is that I complained to DCW first in 2019, yet to get any help. So, Swati Maliwal, who very famously went to the St. Stephen's Hospital battle, and in fact was there all night, was protesting, wanting to meet the victim in that particular case. Why was she not helping these victims? And had she helped these victims, perhaps it would have come to light what this individual was all about. Swati Maliwal promised an inquiry. Inquiry is yet to take place, is what the second victim is saying. Very, very serious charges that are being made over here as far as this particular complainant is concerned, this particular victim, to call her that more specifically, is concerned. Let's listen to what she told us over the phone.
कितने समय तक चलता रहा ये?
मैम एक्चुअली ये सब काफी टाइम से चल रहा था और धीरे धीरे जब चीजें टाइम से ऊपर हो जाती हैं तो फिर इंसान जब वॉइस रेज करता है तो उसके साथ इसी तरह की चीजें होती है कि सुनवाई कहीं पे भी नहीं होती, किसी भी प्लेटफॉर्म पे नहीं होती।
क्या आपने डीसीडब्ल्यू में भी कंप्लेन की थी जैसे आपने मेंशन किया?
जी हाँ, डीसीडब्ल्यू में की थी। डीसीडब्ल्यू की हर तारीख हर हियरिंग पे मैं गई हूँ, पर डीसीडब्ल्यू से भी मेरे को कोई हेल्प इस मैटर पर नहीं मिली।
क्या डीसीडब्ल्यू की चीफ ने कभी आपसे संपर्क करने की कोशिश किया, उनके यहाँ से किसी मेंबर ने?
पीसी दल जब थे वहाँ पे तो उन्होंने मुझे कोशिश किया था कि वो मुझे स्वाति मालीवाल से मिलाएंगे, लेकिन फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने मुझे मिलवाया नहीं। मैंने मेरी टाइम कॉन्टेक्ट किया बट नहीं मिलवाया। बस मैं उनके यहाँ पे जो भी वो तारीख देते थे उस तारीख पर मैं गई।
मतलब मैम आप ये कह रही हैं कि आपने स्वाति मालीवाल जो डीसीडब्ल्यू चीफ है उनसे भी कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश 2019 से की थी?
हाँ, 2019 में मेरा फर्स्ट कंप्लेंट दिल्ली कमीशन वुमेन को ही गया था और ऑन द स्पॉट ही गया था।
और डीसीडब्ल्यू स्वाति मालीवाल से आपने जब संपर्क किया तब उनका क्या कहना था?
उनका कहना था कि उन्होंने एप्लीकेशन फॉरवर्ड कर दी है, डिपार्टमेंटल इंक्वायरीज होगी और जेजेसी से तो हमें ये भी पता चला था कि सिर्फ जैसी इंक्वायरी इसके खिलाफ बैठाई गई है, लेकिन आज तक वो सिर्फ इंक्वायरी नहीं हुई है।
All this raises serious questions of what were these red flags? Why were they ignored? And let's quickly sum them up for you. These are the red flags. 4 complaints of sexual harassment registered in 2019. That's red flag number 1. Red flag number 2. Internal panels gave clean sheet to Premoday Khakha in 2 cases. Red flag number 3 now. Made OSD to the minister despite 2 cases pending in 2021. Red flag number 4, complaint in High Court petition that DCW didn't pursue the case diligently. Red flag number 5 now, DCW chief is respondent number 6 in complainant's petition. Red flag number 6 in this particular case is that the Delhi High Court seeks the WCD secretary's response on complaint against Khakha. And the last red flag that we are bringing out over here is that the Delhi High Court asked the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. Sisodia, to be more specific, to conduct a fresh inquiry on Khakha's conduct by a private agency or a third-party agency such as the TISS. Now, this leads some very, very serious questions. I'm going to go across to my reporters who've been getting us these details. Tejshree Purandare is joining us. We also have Nyamika Singh with us. I'm going to come to you first, Nyamika. You spoke to one of the victims. Now, we are protecting the identities of these victims at this point of time. They are, of course, going to fight a long legal battle, but they have really had to undergo an extremely harrowing time since 2019. It's been 4 years, and justice still seems to be elusive for the victims.
Well, absolutely, and even this is the message which the victim is also trying to give to the people of this country, as she has mentioned it very clearly, that such kind of people should be dealt with the strictest manner. A strict punishment should be given to such people. And firstly, if they are government officials, they needs to be terminated as soon as any kind of complaint is being registered against them, as she has mentioned. And very, very shocking details which have been accessed by Times Now is that despite of all these complaints, despite of the fact that there were already 4 complaints which were being registered against Premoday Khakha, still he was being there in the department. Still he was having that key position within the department. And even when speaking to Times Now, the complainant has also mentioned that she was even approached the DCW, but no appropriate action was being taken even after that particular complaint. And she has also mentioned that the internal committee was also being constituted after so many days that they have already made a complaint, and she was not the only person being there in the department. There are many other people who with whom Premoday Khakha had misbehaved. He used to comment on the figure, he used to comment on the clothes, and even there were certain kind of jokes which are also being used. He used to make upon the women who were working there in that particular department. So these are all the complaints. These are the issues which have been faced on the part of all these officials who used to work there with Premoday Khakha. Still, no action was being taken on the part of the department, as one of the complainant has also mentioned that she had approached the secretary, but no response had come on his part as well. So these are the shocking details which have come to the fore as this
well,
raises
these are
a
shocking
pertinent
details
question.
indeed. Niyamika, hold on to your thoughts. Let me quickly take this across to Tejshree as well. In fact, Tejshree, tell us what exactly was the complainant that you spoke to also told us. She's had a very harrowing time, no justice, and even as far as her employment is concerned, now there are very serious questions.
Well, she told that this is not for the first time that such kind of incidents are being reported. But yes, surprisingly, they are thankful that now these incidents are coming to light, because they have been running from post to pillar to register their complaint, to file a complaint, to file an FIR, to make a note about whatever is happening to them. She was also concerned about the fact that there are not only these 4 victims who were the complainants and who spoke about, who came out, who had the guts to speak against Premoday Khakha, but also there are many other victims who unfortunately could not be the complainants because of the threats that they were getting from Premoday Khakha. Because the victim, who is the complainant, told Times Now that there were many such complainants who used to get threats from Premoday Khakha because he was a very influential person. And that because of his influence, because of his threat, she had to lose her job also. Not just to lose her job, the very second day after the transfer of her job, she was stopped outside the gate.
Well, the victim in this case has been further victimized. That's the clear message coming out of this entire episode. Shocking state of affairs. Is this what we expect for the state of the National Capital Territory of Delhi? Is this something that deserves the citizens of the national capital? That's certainly food for thought, and that's what we're going to be debating in just a few seconds from now. Thanks so much for those reports, Tejshree as well as Niyamika. Let's take this across to our guest. Joining us with us is Sanju Verma of the BJP. We also have with us Laita Kumarabangram, former NCW chairperson. Zishan Haider is a political analyst, as is Vivek Srivastav and Ravi Srivastav as well. Ravi Srivastav, absolutely shocking state of affairs. The victim in this case has lost her job. Why? Because she complained against workplace sexual harassment. There were red flags against this individual. There were High Court that in fact is flagging this off to the Social Justice and Welfare Ministry. Yet, nothing happens against this official. It's mind-boggling.
Madhav, fact is that on 13 the complaint was filed and the Delhi police took full 8 days to arrest this predator, this rapist person. Another thing is, all these complaints, the 4 complaints you are talking about, 2 are pending in the High Court. The respective dates are in September and November. 4th was found to be anonymous, was not considered, and 1st has already been dismissed. Now, as far as internal committees are concerned, the honorable courts rely very heavily on internal committees. They say you have got your own system of redressal, you first go through that. Another question which I want to ask
May I very respectfully ask you, Ravi Srivastav, just a second, just very respectfully ask you a question. Have you ever heard of a case of a person against whom there are sexual harassment proceedings pending in a High Court being appointed as an OSD to the WCD minister? Where in the country does that happen? Where in the world does that happen?
I just now saw on other channel, somebody said that he was an OSD to Mr. Harish Khurana, the BJP spokesperson was saying that he was appointed as an OSD to DCW, which he was never.
He was OSD to, I'm not saying that. I said Kailash Gehlot last year. Sir, Kailash Gehlot last year to this year, February or March. It's about 11 months period roughly. And let me be specific. I have not stated wrong facts. Please don't state wrong facts and start an argument here. Please answer the question.
Madhav, first thing is that the so-called protection, the BJP has got no shame to mention it. They have got protecting that Raj Bhushan Saran Singh, that rapist MP, and
Sir,
because of whom
on this debate,
WFI has been suspended. There will be no Indian flag flying in
Madhav,
the
let me just come in here.
Two wrongs don't make a right, sir. Two wrongs don't make a right. We're discussing Premoday Khakha. We're discussing Premoday Khakha, but since you've taken the name of BJP, I'll allow Sanju Verma to come in. Yes.
Khakha should be.
Thank you.
Sanju Verma.
Madhav, I need my time.
Why was he not
I did not
nominated
heckle
earlier?
anyone.
Why was he being feted and promoted? That's the question.
That's
I need my time, Madhav.
22 years. 22 years he joined as a professional.
Can I please? I heard this man
Mr.
very
Ravi Srivastav,
patiently.
Mr. Ravi Srivastav, there are serious questions of what the Delhi government was doing. Whether it was an act of omission or commission, either way it is not right. Sanju Verma.
I am very clear today. I will not allow this debate by you, Madhav, to be deflected and made into the Brij Bhushan Saran debate, because we've had umpteen debates on Brij Bhushan Saran. Today the debate is on that 14-year-old who's today 17-year-old. She was raped by her father's best friend for 3 long years under the long and incompetent nose of Arvind Kejriwal, of Swati Maliwal, of Kailash Gehlot, of Atishi Marlena. And why have I named these 4 people from Aam Aadmi Party? Because like they say, in a corporate house, the buck stops at the CEO's doorstep. When it comes to the WCD department, while the head may be Atishi Marlena, the final buck stops at Arvind Kejriwal's doorstep. The first complaint against Premoday Khakha was filed on 1st December 2018.
Gentlemen, why are you
If the
shouting?
first
You have
complaint
spoken.
was
One second,
filed-
Sanju Verma, 1 second. Mr. Ravi Srivastav
What is this, Madhav?
and Mr.
This
Vivek
is not
Srivastav,
fair.
Mr. Ravi Srivastav, you have spoken. Mr. Vivek Srivastav, don't speak out of turn. Otherwise, I'll be forced to lower faders here. I have limited time today. I'm not going to tolerate any shouting by any side. Yes, Sanju Verma, now complete your point.
I repeat, Madhav, and let the Aam Aadmi Party and the leftist spokesperson listen to this and feel ashamed. How is it that when the first complaint was filed against Premoday Khakha on the 1st of December 2018, the second complaint against him on the 7th of April 2019, there are 4 complaints, and especially, Madhav, a very important point which you have mentioned earlier in the day. Most of the complaints are by mentally challenged women who are staying at Seva Kutir. I'm appalled that this man took advantage of women and vulnerable, marginalized women who are specially abled at that, which makes the cases against him more horrific. I just have this thing to say. Was Kejriwal not aware in the last 4 or 5 years that the deputy director of one of his key ministries in the WCD department is actually a child rapist and a child molester? Was Atishi Marlena not aware? Was Swati Maliwal not aware when the initial FIR was filed? What was she doing? When Premoday Khakha went to the Delhi police to, register his side of the story, everything must have come out in the public domain. Why did Swati Maliwal still attempt to shield him? Why was he not suspended then? In fact, he should have been suspended as per
Right.
the Vishaka guidelines.
Yes.
In 2018 itself, I just want to end by saying one thing.
Quickly.
The Vishaka guidelines of 1997 and the Vishaka guidelines of 2013 clearly say that if there is more than one case pending against a molester or a potential rapist, he has to be sacked and put on suspension, leave without pay immediately. Was he put on leave without pay? I want that answer from Arvind Kejriwal.
Well, Vivek
As per
Srivastav.
Vishaka guidelines.
Vivek Srivastav, respond to that. Under the Vishaka
Did you
guidelines,
follow
there are
Vishaka
many.
guidelines?
Leave alone action being taken on Khakha. One of the
Sanju, now listen
complainants
to me.
says there was no internal committee.
Yes.
And that Swati Maliwal, who in
Now
fact
please
made
listen to
was there, at the hospital, wanted
now
to meet
please
the
listen to
victim
me.
earlier this week, spent a night over there,
Yeah.
did not even act on a complaint of 2 of the victims. This is what they're complaining.
Yes. Now, let's start. Now, there is a saying in Urdu कि हमाम में हम सब नंगे हैं, which means, yes, I mean, Sanju Verma took the name of Atishi Marlena and Manish Sisodia, Arvind Kejriwal, so on and so forth. Also mentioned the Delhi police, which is under the Home Minister himself. Also mention why don't you take the name of Mr. Amit Shah and
This
the way
is
he's
about
controlling the Delhi police
Kejriwal,
here.
not
When it
about
comes to
Delhi
hitting out
police.
at students in Jamia and JNU,
This
you
is
are far
about
ahead.
I will.
Atishi
No,
Marlena.
let me, Vivek, one second.
It is also about the Delhi police. Home Minister, number one. Number two, please let me speak.
Vivek, letters are being written by the High Court to Mr. Sisodia.
Bhaiya, let me
Letters
speak.
are coming in from the complaint letters are going to Swati Maliwal.
This is not
Yes,
about
you can
Delhi
say,
police.
you
Shame
can
on
say,
you.
you can
Yes, so let me-
say in this
Shame on you.
current
This is
case.
not
One
about
second,
Delhi
one second. Sanju Verma, just calm down. 1 second. I'm just saying
Let
one
me
simple
speak.
thing. Vivek Srivastav, listen to me. Listen to my question. In the current case, 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to conduct this debate. Vivek Srivastav, simple question to you is this. If we leave aside what the horrific case, and The
Yes,
extremely
I'm
horrific case that has happened and that was reported on Monday. We are
Yes.
talking about the background of this man. And surely,
Yes,
on such
yes.
an administrative issue, it should have been red flagged in the system.
Yes.
There are at least 7 red flags that we've read out. If there's 7 complaints, if there's 7 letters, orders, what is going on in the government?
Now, let me yes. See, I'll be very clear, Madhav, please now listen to me very patiently. There are so many organizations which are working for the development of women and their problems and trying to sort it out. ADVA is one of them. National Federation of Indian Women affiliated with the Communist Party is one of them. They are going down the streets and fighting out cases. Believe me, it is a strong administrative problem cutting across governments, cutting across party lines. I mean, the DCW and also the NCW.
Have you ever heard?
Don't drag
Which
parties
government?
into it.
Okay, Ravi
Srivastav saying, no.
Vivek
Now
Srivastava,
there is a parallel.
Which
There is a parallel.
Which
And you are
government
not willing to
ignores?
listen to the parallel.
One second. Vivek Srivastava, just calm down. I want Lalita Kumar Mangalam to comment on this now. Lalita Kumar Mangalam, you have Vivek Srivastava, who says this is a problem in all governments. Please tell us, for the benefit of our panelists and our viewers, where in this country, and you've been NCW chairperson, so you know a thing or two about this. Have you heard of a case of a person accused of sexual or workplace harassment in any case by multiple people continuing getting promoted in the WCD department of a state government? It defies all logic.
No, to answer your question directly,
No, who is Braj
a
Bhushan
simple
Saran
no
Singh?
is enough. 1 minute.
And why are the Indian wrestlers
Vivek
fighting
Srivastava,
without
please.
Indian flag?
Vivek Srivastava, please. Let's not. I am not defending Bhushan Saran Singh. The law will take its course. There is a charge sheet filed, but let's not equate that with this, because this is a very serious question of accountability. One second. This is a very different case, sir. There is no defense for Bhushan Saran Singh that anybody is giving here except for the BJP. But let's not conflict issues, please. Let's not conflate and sidetrack issues. I'm going to lower all faders except for Lalita Kumar Mangalam now because we have limited time. Lalita Kumar Mangalam, please come in.
Yeah, Madhav, the case is quite obvious. It's very clear that there's the attempt is to make a cover up, because there are people within the government far higher than just this terrible animal, this Premoday, whatever he is. I'm afraid I really want to use some really bad words, but I can't because I'm on national TV. This horrible, worse than an animal whose bosses, whoever they may be in the Delhi government, I really don't care. They should have sacked him a long time back. They haven't. In short, I'd like to say that everybody, whether it's Kejriwal, Gehlot, Atishi, Maliwal, etc., they're all complicit in the crimes this man has committed because they have covered up. Now, I am not saying that other governments of whichever party they may belong to, which have done the same thing, have done the right. They have also done wrong. In their cases, whenever they were discussed, they also are complicit in it. Today, I'm talking about this particular case and the drama that Swati Maliwal did on that first day, sleeping on the footpath or whatever it was. All of it was just to deflect attention from what has really happened. The biggest problem in this country is that there are activists, there are people in the government, there are people who are supposed to be the protectors of women and and prevent them from being the victims of sexual predators, who actually do not do anything. This is why women are still in this country at the receiving end everywhere, whether it's Bombay, whether it's Kerala, whether it's Calcutta, whether it's Chennai, whether it's Delhi, etc. In this case, at least, I really request everybody else on this panel, everybody else, please put aside the politics of it and look at the fact that if we can go to the moon, okay, we have an 18-year-old boy almost winning against one of the geniuses in chess, but still in India, helpless women are being raped, are being subjected to all sorts of sexual torture. And where will they go when people like us who are sitting on this panel tonight are so busy fighting against each other, nitpicking about each other, hating each other's bosses or guts or whatever it is? Where will these girls actually go? We should, this whole country today, including all of us, we really need to hang our heads in shame.
Absolutely.
We are supposed to be the intellectuals. We are supposed to be the ones who are trying to be fighting. What are we doing fighting with each other on this panel? How will this in any way help any victim of sexual predators? Whether it is rape, whether it is nasty comments, whether it is far worse things.
Why
And, you
not
know,
hold?
This is how it
Zishan Haider.
involves people like this Premoday Khakha.
Let me bring in
He knows
Zishan
he'll
Haider.
get away with it.
Let me bring in
Because
Zishan
we all
Haider.
end up
Zishan
making
Haider.
fools
All right.
of
We have some
shouting at
breaking
each
news
other.
coming in. We have some breaking news coming. The lawyer of one of the complainants has spoken to Times Now and admits that DCW knew about these complaints. Let's listen in.
इनसे संबंधित केस फाइल है। एक तो हाई कोर्ट में सब जुडिस है और एक मैंने रोहिणी में भी किया था। इनके खिलाफ नंबर ऑफ केसेस पेंडिंग भी हैं और पहले भी कई कंप्लेन हैं इनके खिलाफ, लेकिन डिफरेंट अथॉरिटी ने एडमिट कर रखा है कि हाँ इन्होंने मुझे अप्रोच किया था और कंप्लेन किया था। प्रिंसिपल मजिस्ट्रेट के पास भी, दिल्ली कमीशन फॉर वुमेन में भी, सभी जगह उन लोगों ने कंप्लेन की डेयर किया था। दिल्ली कमीशन फॉर वुमेन ने भी एडमिट किया है कि हाँ इन लड़कियों ने इनके खिलाफ
जीशान हैदर, दिल्ली कमीशन फॉर वुमेन के पास भी कंप्लेंट थी, ये विक्टिम्स भी कह रहे हैं, उनके वकील भी कह रहे हैं। अब क्या जवाब है सरकार के पास?
सरकार के पास बिल्कुल जवाब है और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि देखिए, मैं यही कहूंगा कि वो हम आह भी करते हैं तो हो जाते हैं बदनाम, वो कत्ल भी करते हैं तो चर्चा नहीं होता। वही वाली बात है, कंप्लेंट कोई छोटी नहीं होती है, हरासमेंट कोई भी छोटा नहीं होता।
इतने रेड फ्लैग के बावजूद आप ऐसे कह रहे हैं? 7 या 8 रेड फ्लैग्स हम बता चुके हैं आपको और तब भी आप कह रहे हैं कि किसी तरह का डबल स्टैंडर्ड है।
मुझे अनइंटरप्टेड 2 मिनट दीजिए माधव जी, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि
I'm sorry, we are completely out of time, Zishan Haider. I cannot give you those 2 minutes. I would have loved to, but we are completely out of time because we have another debate. I have to leave it there. Sanju Verma, Lalita Kumar Banglan, Zishan Haider, Vivek Srivastava and Ravi Srivastava. It's a very, very important story. Times Now is going to continue to fight for the victims. This is going to be a Times Now campaign. And we are going to continue to expose the monster that this individual, Premoday Khakha, is, because there are more complaints that are spilling out every day against this particular individual.